All right. You're welcome in Black Hot Fire Network, Africa Maria from Kampala, Uganda, with my colleague.
INNOSSETU Kampala, Uganda.
It is evening and a very cold one for that matter. But yeah, you're welcome on Black Hot Fire Network. And for those watching us from Black Hot Fire Network on YouTube and Black Hot Fire Network Radio, Facebook, Twitter, and of course TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome, and we are so super excited. Welcome back from your weekend. Of course, we were supposed to be here Monday, but we couldn't make it because of electricity. But we are so glad that we're here tonight with you guys. So whom did you miss?
All of them.
Who? Which all of them?
All of them. That's all.
The silent majorities.
Yeah.
The silent majorities and the violent minorities.
The silent minority.
Majority. Because like apparently you find that we have very many viewers at times, some of them don't. But of course we have the likes of Jib Jabal and Robert Williams, Kel Williams. We have another sister, Indigo. We have
Michelle.
Michelle. Yeah, so at times
General.
those General Mosquera. I don't want that violence. He loves violence, but it's always there. Then there is one guy you've never seen him before, but you will see him sometime. It's called Second One. You've ever seen him?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently we got a few of us who always like dive into the comments and like say hi. So we also have that category of others who just keep on watching every time. They'll be watching and not saying anything. We also have those ones who just come in and they're like like those guys on Facebook. The other guy you promised to give a dance, an African dance, but you didn't dance for him. But you had promised him that, and I know he was expecting, but he didn't comment anything. So of course. So we welcome you guys from that week. Yeah, it has been a very busy week, a hectic one for us. The electricity on and off. And yeah, about 2 days. Topic is quite a sensitive one for that matter. And this is something apparently that has affected um, each one of us as Black people, directly or indirectly. Um, so actually personally chose this particular topic. Um, we usually talk about Africans united. We always talk about Africa waking up, embracing themselves. We usually talk about the basic how we are being hated by others, but we don't look at the fact that it is very disappointing for other Black people to hate their own. And this has been experienced on a larger scale throughout the globe, that sometimes you see your fellow Black person as a stranger. This topic seems to be social because it is not far-fetched. It is a topic that we need not revise. It is something that each of us has felt at one point. Because apparently, for me, when I look at a Black person or an African person, wherever you're coming from, whether you're a Black person from the US, Europe, Africa, whatever, there is that feel that I see you as a brother before anything else. Before, no matter your age, I see you like a brother, like a sister. I see you like somebody I can talk to anytime. I feel like you're somebody I can trust anytime compared to others. Okay? But we have experienced this that at times before even we talk about tribalism in Africa, no one so at times we talk about issues like tribalism, and Have you ever been at your workplace and apparently probably you're working for this somebody? I'm gonna use the Muzungu
mm,
as an example. And you're working your fellow Africans. Do you know how do they treat you towards that Muzungu? Or any person you have ever worked for? There is something I've realized about a lot of black people. You know, more especially, there is no, we don't have that feeling of brotherhood, that feeling of brotherly love, to the point that it seems like we are competing with each other for almost everything. You understand? For example, you find someone has access probably from of getting you a job, but because this person feels like the moment you get that job, you're not going to be a beggar.
mm,
Okay? If I give Innocent this job, Innocent is not going to be begging me for money anymore. But I want to keep him there begging me. You understand? And at the end, what's gonna happen? I don't give that job to you, Innocent. I rather give the job to somebody else that I don't know
mm,
than seeing you have that job, than seeing you earn money. You understand? Because the moment I do that, you're not going to ask me for money. And the money that you even ask, I don't give. But I just enjoy the fact that you keep on begging.
mm,
Now, we have experienced this at a larger scale, not only in Africa, but even outside.
mm,
I feel like there are some people who love it when others are poor.
mm,
There's some people who love it when others keep on begging. There's some people who love it to feel that their others are inferior. And it is very painful for someone to wish their fellow, black people for such a thing. First, secondly, we've seen those people like who are employed. You find we have always had issues of black people. We see Chinese beating up black people.
mm,
We go ahead and see some Americans beating up black people. And at the end, we don't really get to understand why is this taking place? Why is this happening? Why is this person trying to beat the other? If you follow this case to the end, you realize it was caused by their fellow black people. I've ever worked with white people, so there is something about these people that whoever comes first and feeds them any information whatsoever,
mm,
they take that for true.
mm,
They take that. So even if you come later on and you start defending like, I didn't do that, there is no way they are going to
mm,
give you room for that.
mm,
And so apparently we saw one of an African guy who was killed in the United Arab Emirates.
mm,
Um, he was killed by the fellow black people.
mm,
Uh, you saw that video when that guy was.
mm,
So I go ahead and I try to look into this guy's story.
mm,
It is a very sad story.
mm,
I don't know, maybe I'm not um I don't want to say that I'm exceptional about a lot of things, but I don't think there is something that someone can do
mm,
that will make me kill somebody. Unless you have killed.
mm,
You understand? So apparently I know people are going through a lot of shit. People are going through a lot that we cannot explain.
mm,
But the justification of actually deciding to kill
mm,
uh, your fellow black person with whom you share probably the same origin, you come from the same country, you came together to hustle. So they were claiming that this guy used to take money from, you know, workers and fail to get them jobs.
mm,
Um, so they first of all they beat this guy terribly as they were
mm,
recording him.
mm.
Afterwards, when they stopped recording, and actually it is a woman who pushed the dude.
Who goes?
Mm. It is a woman who killed him. She pushed like, you may look at someone's life and you think it's a joke. Because if they were to arrest that guy, maybe he would have paid stuff.
mm,
And the guy said, I have the passport, but I'm also working on the behalf
mm,
of somebody else. The story was long. Others were like, it's a love triangle. Others were like, the lady who pushed her away, while they were like dating. So the guy was like, got another babe. Story, shit like that. But why do we see such an act in such a foreign country where, like, mostly all of you black people need to come together?
mm,
Hmm?
mm,
Why do we see such acts when we need us to be together? Why do we see black people kill each other when they need each other? Um, I feel like this is a stereotype. This is a mental problem. People are so desperate that they don't really care about each other. And that's why we have seen such kind of things now. Loving each other, I feel like it's all that we can do, or it's all we have. Because we are taking too much time in hating, but there are those people who were designed, who were brought up to typically hate the black people. um it is becomes very sad, saddening and painful when you realize that black people themselves cannot trust each other. I've been watching some scenarios, some videos, some real life stories. And at times I'm like wondering, at times we see people going to um deciding to date outside their race and stuff like that. Some people have been through shit, and they have not when people have not experienced love,
mm,
it is very hard for them to understand what it means.
mm,
Like they say that all the time, any girl child who has never been told that she's beautiful
mm,
or she's loved by the parent, the moment a stranger says that to her,
mm.
they find like, okay, definitely, because they've never had this. I mean, they're
Understand.
Hmm?
Understand.
because they've never had this from anybody else.
Mm,
So a lot has been going on all over the globe that we hardly address, issues that we hardly talk about, the trust, that the trust, the hate, the discrimination, starting from the higher hierarchy to down. Africans have been discriminating themselves. I'll give you an example. I usually see, uh, though I would not want to use this example really, but it's a good example. I usually see the Black Americans arguing with the Nigerians, and at times they even make full videos on YouTube. They make videos, they're talking about Nigerians make videos, they're talking about the black Americans. Thank you.
Holiday. No better.
Yeah, we
No better.
um they make videos talking about black Americans. Why should they even have time
Mm,
to be hating each other? Black Americans will tell you when the Nigerians come, they want to claim like they know everything. They want to claim like they own everything. They keep on insulting us, like, why can't you do shit? We're coming to your country because you're dumb and stuff like that.
mm,
But this whole thing drives us back to discrimination. It drives us back to the hate we have among ourselves. It drives us back to the most things that we hate to be done to.
mm,
We hate discrimination. We hate when people discriminate us, but we don't really revise but on our ways and how we, of course, interact with each other, accept each other, socially live with each other.
But discrimination, like uh, like racism,
Mm,
um, like when we go back to African setting, African way of living, the things of discrimination, the things of racism,
mm,
things of tribalism. These are foreign bodies in Africa.
mm,
They're not African made. Things of discriminating each other. We see in Uganda, very well during the time of the Indians here in Uganda. We saw a
mm.
lot of discrimination. Indians discriminating Ugandans or blacks.
On
Yeah,
land.
even the countries where they are. We see in South Africa the whites, even up to now, they're using they're settling in different areas compared to the blacks, and the
Mm,
blacks are settling in areas that are some standard areas that are bad. They're enjoying the education system in bad schools. They are
mm,
getting health in bad hospitals.
mm,
They, the infrastructure in the areas where they stay, it is bad, in poor condition. So I will not stand out and say, like Africans, we were born. Our ancestors used to do this thing of separatism,
mm,
this thing of discrimination,
mm,
racism, and and the tribalism,
mm,
because of course all those things move together.
mm,
So we should not forget that mm, we see a lot of racism in in the US,
mm,
because US has a number of blacks.
mm,
So
mm,
during the 2015-2016 school year, you see that black students represented only 50% of the total US student enrollment,
mm,
but they made up to 35% of the students suspended once. Can you imagine?
mm,
Hmm?
mm,
How can that percentage be suspended once? Black students,
mm,
44% of the students suspended more than once. Can you imagine?
mm,
Hmm? And 36 of the students expelled. Okitegeera?
mm,
So that clearly shows that why is it that the black students, that they are the people that are engaged in those kinds of of experiments at school.
mm,
It's not that they are too violent, it's not that they are too stubborn for
mm,
school, but with the logic behind is racism,
mm.
because we see the number of, it's not that like the blacks, they have the biggest population in US. It's not true that the blacks have that big number in
Mm,
US,
mm,
but racism behind all this, we also see that in the New York City, 80% of the police stops in 2018 involved black people and the Latin Americans, of course,
mm.
while 10% involved whites. How can police stopovers, even the police, they have it in mindset that we have to make the black stop 80% of the people, like was stopped.
Because we appear like suspects to them all the
Later.
time.
And of course, for all these people that the stopovers were made with the blacks, 88%, 70% were completely innocent. They weren't guilty about anything. But we should also remember, in one of the US surveys, 15% of the students reported experiencing race-based bullying or harassment. It was found that blacks were the people that were bullied. Okitegeere? So We see a lot among a lot of criminals, a lot of things that have been done on black people. Besides the blacks, like I'm trying to show you how blacks come to hate each other, how
Mm,
blacks come to discriminate each other.
mm,
Right? So, besides all that, we see that black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to experience a pregnancy-related death than white women. That is US.
mm,
Why is it so? Why is it so? You know very well that in African countries today, in Africans, they're so kind, they're so intelligent, like what they normally say. Whenever a woman goes to the hospital when she wants to give birth, they will operate this woman on force just because they want money. Of course, they know giving birth, just give normal giving birth, won't cost some good money. So they always tell you're going to be operated so that the hospital can get some money.
mm,
You know, even in private hospitals in Africa, I mean, in public hospitals in Africa, you have to pay for operations. Still, from 2013 to 2017, white patients in the US received better quality health care. At about, you see that in 2017, over 34% of the patients whites got better health care,
mm,
and 40% of the black patients and 40% of the Native American patients. You know, you see all the measurements, you see all those calculations that are being made. You see the blacks are left out. The blacks are treated not equally like anyone. That is America. We want to see how does it come to fellow African to the blacks. How do they come to discriminate each other? How do
mm,
they come to see like blacks in Africa discriminate each other?
mm,
Together, eh?
mm,
So due to that history, like in America, you know, USA is going, the blacks in USA, they're going through a lot and a lot. And not only in USA, it is in South Africa. We see the blacks in South Africa, the natives are going through a lot. Hmm?
mm,
So that is the genesis of all that hating, that discrimination that we see among Africans. We have our own problems in Africa that create a discrimination. Machege, eh?
mm,
And and actually the key issue is that causes a lot of discrimination in Africa today. I know you'll believe with me or not. Um, it is uh, a race. I mean, gender inequality. Which again,
mm,
gender inequality. It is one of the things that cause discrimination in Africa, because you see, like most women still earn less than men and are more likely to be trapped in low paid, low skilled jobs, often in the formal
mm.
economy. Where did that thing come from? I'm sorry to say this. That women must be paid low money. We see it in African countries. Women are not allowed to work.
Upheaval.
Eh?
That's another comment. It's there. Well, women are supposed to pay some. I think they were debating about that in Uganda, and it actually didn't work. So, to again, and actually, I think it didn't work. I think first of all, us as black people hating each other begins with us hating who we are. Usually, the one thing I've experienced, and that's why when ndaba omuntu nga tajja kunkolera nkwesonyiwa nga bukyali. There is first of all, you cannot. Love your fellow black person when you hate the fact that you're a black person. And these are people who are always trying to get, who want to get credit, who want to get affirmation from the other people. You understand? Even like someone wants to be accepted by a Muzungu because for them they have never accepted that they're black people. They want someone to credit what they are because it is important for them for someone else to do that. And we have experienced this. So, um, we have seen a lot of people looking down on each other. That's why, as we talk about black people getting each other's bag, they are not doing that anyway. We have also realized we have got other people, black people who are hurting other people. When these people are working on us, when a Mzungu decides to work on us, they are always united against us. If it comes to the black people's lives, a Mzungu is always united. No matter what that person is doing, no matter how he tries to help, no matter how he tries.
Hmm? Okay.
Say, so you can never experience positivity from a person who doesn't love the fact that they are black people. You see, it is a challenging thing, I think, to most of them. This is why we have bad leaders, because me, I feel like if these leaders really loved the black people, they wouldn't be doing the shit they are doing right now. And that's why when this Bazungu wanted to fight against the black people in Africa, they used to pick people from outside that given kingdom or territory, and this person comes to spy and do shit because this person feels like we are not related together. So whether you are washed by the rain or no, you know, washed by the rain, the swimming pool. Ndose kubetanya. Nemkwa. Wallahi. Washed by the rain, Michelle. Let me know. Ndose kubetanya. Derek, WhatsApp to the Ugandan twins with their whole behind pronunciations. Oh, Jib Jabba, you're welcome. I didn't do it, but didn't know me. Oh, no, can say I'm busy, alright?
Singabagana ekitakola.
Nyama, nyama, boys,
Kubanga byonna byemaze nga tokola. Ojja okwonoona obudde.
kuba obwongo bwange buli bukuumya nabyo badere sifuuse nga bwegamba gibatali uyakaddamu kebadde ogumumu ogwogera naye nga obwongo bulota. Jibijaba, thank you for coming, sir. So anyway, there's a comment here, Jibijaba. Gotcha. Jibijaba. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Oh God. Come on, Papa. So
Ebbanga lyonna lyemaze nga tokola n'ojja onoona obudde. kijja kuswala kati
Kuyogera.
kola.
So, okay, sorry. Innocent is always saying funny things. So that's I said, retrospect center.
Giggala.
So, all right, I'm not gonna do this again. We can never, like, we the black people, we can never talk about unity or like us coming together. Um, when in actual sense, we still have a few people out there who don't believe in us coming together, who don't support black people, who don't support black people's business. I've come across some groups on Facebook actually who advocate for black, businesses and they got upon black people, like try to buy from us, stuff like that. My biggest question I always wonder are like, if you want me to buy stuff, because before even you want me to buy from you as a black person, also think about me as a black person. Now we have got some businesses in Africa to say, because we've got a lot of investors in Africa who are doing business. All right. So you find another African person trying to do the same business in Africa, okay? And you would say, all right, now Jib Jabba has got this, and it is Jib Jabba, I mean, he's a black man, so why should I go to buy the same thing that Jib Jabba has from a Chinese? All right. But when you look at what Jib Jabba is giving you, then you revise whether you should actually buy from Jib Jabba or go to buy from somebody else. You understand? First of all, somebody will say, come and patronize black business. We are patronizing black business, fine. And you are selling something 4 times expensive than the rest of the people. So apparently, I should be the one to show that I love and care for you as a black person. So I'm coming to buy for you, but you don't love and care for me. For you, it's about business. But me, I should show you how I love you since you're a black person. I should come and patronize your business, come and buy stuff. The same stuff you're selling expensively compared to others. Now, this is why we see a lot of people. Have you ever seen? We have got some Indian who sell clothes. Some Indians, they sell kids' clothes, they sell grown-up clothes. You reach their shop and they're selling something, and you realize that the same price, the same thing that these Indians are selling, they are selling it cheaper. And you may find when it's original, Indians hardly sell Bichukuri. You will find when it's original and the Indian person is selling it cheaper. So you go to a Ugandan shop, you will run away. Whether you like it or not, you'll come back and buy from this Indian person. Because you realize that this very Ugandan you call a brother, the one you would wish, the one you would love to support wholeheartedly, is selling like 4 times the price the Indian is selling. And when you cross check, you will realize even when they are selling fake commodities. You understand? So at times, these people make it hard. And this is why I'm saying there is that hate among ourselves. There is that discrimination, price discrimination, number one. You see, there is that discrimination in apparently everything, because If at all it is me, you see me, I'm speaking the same language you are speaking, probably I'm coming from the same area. Why would you want to sell me that thing 4 times the price other shops are selling it? I thought you'd be like, yeah, you're my brother. You know why? I was selling this at this price, but since it is you, I'm going to reduce it for you, too. And then let me say, yeah, so tomorrow I'm coming back, but you are increasing the price 4 times. Najib Jabba said we discriminate because we have low self-esteem as a group, seeking Muzungu's approval combined with the tribalism in Africa and in the US. Discrimination remains among our people. I agree with you. Woman sells hot dogs for $5 to black customers, says okay. I sell the same dog for five. The big customer says, can I have a deal? My brother. Okay. So they want to no deduction price bargaining. Yeah, but bargaining is okay on some commodities. You cannot come and start bargaining a chapati. A chapati that has uniform price. There are things that don't have I never shop anywhere that does not have a visible price tag. Stegeda. Uh-huh. There are those people that even if they don't have price tag on them, they everywhere you go it is the same price, which even makes it hard for these others. Except there are these other people we call classy, the ones who want to shop in classy areas, So me deciding to say I'm going to buy from Innocent to move all that distance to find Innosetu, and to reach Innosetu's shop is selling 4 times the price because it is Maria who has come to buy and is selling it cheaply to others. It doesn't really make sense. Because I would expect something different. Now, for them, you're my brother, you should buy this. Patronize my business. Bullshit like that. But my God.
So okay. On addition, on Jeep Jabba's comment, he said we discriminate because we have low self-esteem as a group, seeking Muzungu approval combined with tribalism in Africa and in US. The US discrimination remains among uh, among among people. So we see, like we already say here, Africans, the Bazungu, like they made a lot of confusion in Africa. Um, their divide and rule method in Africa still exists even up to now.
Mm.
The discrimination we see between among ourselves in Africa, it is because of the divide and rule method these people created during colonial rule. And they did not end this this did not end. The divide and rule method did not end. Even up to now, we still see divide and rule method working nowadays. We see and we know very well that in Africa you find, like, even the countries that were colonized by the same colonial masters in Africa, they don't relate. They are not together. They don't come out as one people. However much we see a lot, Commonwealth, fucking what. But with these people, they don't have that bond, that mutual understanding between among those countries. However much they are under one umbrella, however much, even now, look at the countries that Russia is supporting in Africa right about now. Neither the Chinese, the new people in this thing, you see that these countries, they don't relate. They don't have that mutual understanding between themselves. So these people creating those differences, creating the demarcations, creating the divide and rule policy, which is even working even up to now. There is no Africans will come. There is no Africans will avoid this discrimination. Someone from Nigeria will come and they will be like, oh, that is a Nigerian or what, or Irani or a Kenyan. Someone be like, as a college. There are certain comments they always make. So, however much, however much these countries are under one colonial master, these countries are sharing something in common, like the East African community or East African countries. They will never be the same just because of the confusion the other people created. Say again.
Jibjaba says, the point is, white man can put any price on it and we will buy. The black man sells the same item for the same price. We want a deal. The black merchant needs a profit more so than the white man. Uh, I really well, I think this can work outside Africa. But in Africa, where the black people are the majorities and they're the ones having businesses, and you experience such a thing, you know, it's crazy. Yeah, I know a lot of people still would want the bargaining thing. For them, they want you to sell them things cheaply. You understand? But if they go to Amzungu's shop, they cannot tell Amzungu to reduce on the price.
They don't bargain.
They don't bargain, they'll just
They
give
have that
them,
confidence.
you
People
know.
have confidence in white shops. In white shops, when the white is the one in the shops, Africans
They'll
have
never
that.
get that chicken.
And, Africans have that confidence. Like Africans have that confidence in whites. We don't have self-esteem.
Chicken.
Like Africans have, they don't. We don't have self-esteem. We don't believe in ourselves. You see, like you may find like a Chinese having a shop in Africa. You see very many Africans going in for that white person, even when the price tags are not there, like Jibijaba saying. Uh, you see them like people diverting. They're going. They're trusting that person so much. They're trusting those shops so much. I don't know what comes into minds of Africans when it comes to whites, but like Jiba said, we don't have that self-esteem, that confidence over we don't have it. And Chinese, they're using like they're getting chance of Africans, they're getting chances of we. Um, they know the matrix that is going on within Africans. They know that there is no way an African will believe in a fellow African. So they will create cheap businesses which even Africans could have started up. They do them and get money, get profits, go back to China, keep their money in Chinese, even keep Chinese money in. Even keep the profits they have got from Africa, they take them to China just because they know our brains. We believe in like white people. Eh? We believe that whites can be trustable, whites are so good. Africans, we are not okay, I guess.
That's how you have concluded. We are not okay. Yeah, I think which one?
So if at all we can remove that kind of setting that we have in our heads, that kind of setting of we still believing that we are slaves, even when these people can no longer come out in broad daylight and take out slaves in Africa. But for us, in our minds, we have it that you're born a slave and you're going to die a slave.
Mhm.
That's what people have in their minds. That's why they always praise Bazungus. And what makes matters, what they even the Chinese Africans were so crazy.
The Chinese who
Kale
know.
twalikoze ku balala. N'aba Chinese.
Behind our mind, but they are fake.
Hmm? It is known
Mchana kuzala mwana na yali fake.
it is known worldwide that those people are fake in whatever they do. But you find people trusting them, you find people working for them, and they are satisfied. They don't have issues. Even when someone is slapped or beaten up by Muzungu, it is okay. Africans, there is a way we solve issues in an awkward way in Africa. I don't know whether it is even happening outside Africa. You remember very well, like, was it South Africans fighting Nigerians in South Africa?
Mm-hmm.
Eh?
Mm.
Was it the case? So how
South
could
Africans were fighting apparently.
Nigerian
The foreign black people who are living in South
in
Africa.
South Africa? They're not fighting the foreigners, the whites that are in South Africa, but
Mm.
they're fighting fellow blacks. They're
Mm.
fighting Nigerians. I saw even Nigerians like they wanted to give back that they started banning up shops of the South Africans that were in Nigeria.
They accepted that the Bazungus in South Africa are there to stay.
That is the slave man. That is the
Tugamba
self-esteem we
tugamba
have.
omutini
Mm,
yebengera mugenzi we.
mm,
Like batitiza omutitiza anonya muti munafu mumege.
mm. And it is the same thing I was talking about. Like, we don't have confidence, we don't have self-esteem. We believe we are still foreigners, even after these people like not doing their shit in broad daylight. But we don't have that confidence in we. Okitegeera, we don't have self-esteem nga Jibjaba we yayogedde, like Jibjaba said.
Kati eyo excuse twagala we don't have self-esteem and we have the excuse we use to hate other people. Together. Because you feel like your other fellow people cannot do greater things. Because for you have failed
Mm,
and you think others have failed as well. We see that even with the Bazungus who have employed black people. You,
mm,
you see your fellow black person stabbing you, you know, and stabbing your back. Anytime you go, they go to that boss, start talking shit
mm,
about it because they want you to lose that job. Probably they want to take your place. And I think Bazungu have a lot of weakness. Maybe not only Bazungu. I think people who are not in Africa have that weakness. If you go and go, if you're the first person to go and gossip, they will take your gossip for truth, and the rest will not have time. I don't really understand why a lot of black people do this, but this is usually done. But me, first of all, the secret is a muntu akola olugambo.
mm.
Because at the end of that, document be about omuswala because kati omuzungu naawe ng'oloopayo oli mbu alya muzungu muno kati ki? Baba katulya bemeka. Omwana tolina magezi gali awo biyeka. Mpera.
So, but we shouldn't forget that the genesis of all this tribalism, the genesis of all this discrimination we see within Africa and outside Africa, it started long time. You know about the tribes, some tribes in Africa currently that cannot sit on the same table just because of the colonial leaders say,
Mm.
check check the above link. It's expound settles pride. Which one? I think.
Mm-hmm. Someone comment.
Hmm? The link. So I was saying that you know of the tribes in Africa currently,
Mm.
like tribes, clans that cannot actually in Africa we had nothing like tribes. These are foreign things, but they cannot sit on the same table. From colonial legacy, these people created that trend they created that is working even up to now. Check it. Well, ask yourself why. Why were um why were these South Africans fighting majorly Nigerians? Yet we have a lot of black people from different places in South Africa.
They used to say Nigerians were dealing in drugs and stuff.
Chidawa. Like even here in Uganda, certain tribes which can't sit on the same table. They say like those guys, like they raided our villages, they took our ancestors. You know, I know you know, I know you know.
Not that. Today got to do that something.
Eh, eh, era
But me, I'll
tukebiriza
start with it.
mukimanyi wowe bakokina mutima.
Wait,
Mm.
no crime. I don't
By the way, like I'm here like to make reparation. Is it a compensation
understand.
because of my ancestors? No, I don't do that. Yeah.
I know who's a flap.
Okay. Send the link to Maria's WhatsApp. It's a documentary on how white merchants target our sensibilities.
Okay, GB.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you will share it with me. Yeah. Ate ndabise mungeeyaka.
Mm.
Maybe it is easier. Let me see.
Really cool.
Let me see. Oh. Yeah. Can you imagine the secret of selling the Negroes? Mwana. So, so fair use.
Fair use, fair use.
So, so Noza Olava, the
Give me
secret.
about 200. I'm done with that.
Eh, yeah, I saw that Jiba.
What?
Akebyoya.
Mm.
Fa. The guy looked like an animal. So you see, like even in like whatever that is going on, whatever you see like as discrimination, what you see now as tribalism, what you see as what in among Africans, it is not a one-day plan. This thing is something that has been happening over years that was created during colonial period. It is one of the colonial legacies that are still moving on, and stupidly very many Africans they don't, even when you explain to them how all that stuff happened, how it came about, they won't believe in you, because of course you have grown up knowing that a certain tribe is this. You have grown up knowing that people, of certain tribes in Africa that are called dumb tribes. They're stupid. You know this. You know this. You know this. You know this. But who said they're stupid?
And by the way, those people are smart.
Watch it again.
Like,
But we grew up knowing that these kind of people, they're so backward, they're stupid, they don't think, they are like they live in bush. But this is colonial legacy that was created. These people, like, these are the people that did not like embrace colonialism during that time. Now these people they created, they made a way of creating. Huh? Huh? Sagabogera kusaba kukyaya bantu. But you know that those tribes that are called like tribes for the stupid, the backward. Those tribes. Even know those that are called like they're so wise. But I find that these praised tribes, they were the people that were under the asses of the whites. That is colonial legacy. Kiriza owagaana. Nedda, ani yagamba nti abasoga basiru? Ani yagamba nti abakalumojja like they are backwards? Where is that written in history? And where does history bring showing out these people that are stupid and backward?
And by the way, so against
Auntie,
I've seen like most of them
Auntie, it's what I'm telling you. Where is it written?
Like most of them. Ate gwatakuwulira kirungi omwana omulenzi okwagala maama we naye maama n'okwolesa obimbi olw'omwana we genda wala. And I think they do that. They don't mind, like, more especially about the girls. But mama, tebafa nnyo ku bawala baabwe. Kikola bakugamba omukazi omusoga afumba. Omusajja omusoga tabasa. Nabanga yabasa maama we. Kati abawala they don't care. N'ate abawala bano basiru. N'ate abasajja bagezi.
But besides that kind of intelligence you're talking about, there is that intelligence they talk about. There is that is like
natural wisdom.
Okitegeera? So there is a way they say that those people are stupid.
They don't have natural wisdom.
Yeah.
True.
About the
I think that one is true. With the natural wisdom, I think it is.
There is no way.
I give you some salads.
That shit is not written anywhere. It is just like it was very hard for like.
You wanted to eat cucumber.
Yeah, I wanted, but
I ate it. Yeah.
So Jib says we do the same here. Country Negroes versus city Negroes. Remember that shit? Like maybe the country Negroes, they are considered to be backward. I don't know how let me read the balls versus the regular Negroes. Ghetto versus regular Negroes. You see, it is all about division and keeping ourselves scattered. You know very well that like here in Africa and currently in Uganda, basically in Uganda, there is a way like people from everyone like wants that background of ghettoism. I grew up from ghetto.
Because of Bobby Wine.
Yeah, like
they were apparently dressed ghettoism, but they ambassador cars.
We are from ghetto. You have nothing to tell us. We are from ghetto. There is that thing of we are from ghetto. You grew up from fenced houses and. Nakulira wabweru free range. Don't give me so.
Free range system.
Because I'm like I won't say I've ever been in every kind of life, but what I know, I've ever been like in all those kinds of life, like those people I feel about very right, like yeah. Nenga zisakulira like in that kind of life kisakata embu kikimbu kisakata bwe mu friend enkoko bakera ne bagita zitawaala yonna gyeyaka etakula katuyi.
It's never even hearing what you're saying.
But that's how I grew up. kati nga olaba enkoko ezo kera tuzitera zitambula oba zirazeewo nezikaza kisasi
Innocent is saying he was raised in a free range system. Like chicken in the morning, they just open the door, the chicken goes and comes back in the evening.
I don't know,
Surprising.
surprising, like enkoko whenever they come back. Mm.
Maybe was.
But what's funny with chicken, whenever they come back, eri we bayasuze ku ddaala omanyi enkoko bwesula eri bayasuze ku ddaala waggulu olwolera ezisula wansi, so it doesn't have a permanent like place to sleep in the house. So that was me, and that's how I grew up. Sijavuga nakulya musaka, so buli wamu nali mpiseewo, buli kimu nakikola. I used to do all that stuff. But it doesn't give sense. Like you see, we separate. This thing happened. This thing happens. You see, like they say, for us, we are from urban centers, and you're from villages. You have nothing to tell about you to tell us. You're too backward. You're from the village. Even when like you get into a certain position in life, you attain something, you achieve something in life, they don't give you that respect just because you came from the village. Which again, and it happens. Why would we separate ourselves? You see very many people, like even at your school, they try to create those groups, classes. Eh? They try to create classes for us.
Weekend.
Yeah, we do weekend and we behave this. We believe in this.
I've not even taken time to see that at school.
For me, I see that.
But for you have been on both sides, so you
I've
know
seen
what happens there.
I've seen this, and actually, I've been in conversations that are promoting such.
Oh,
Hey! The investigative, When I was in my high school, I joined my level in a different school. So when I went to that school, that new school, there was that classism in the school. Like for us, we have been here since day one in high school. For you have just come. So we had those classes. Abakajja and even abatulirawo senior 4. So we had that classism. Even up to now, it is working. Even the other group, that classism is working.
Because you were in a single school.
Yeah. So like
I don't know. I started in single school like 1 year. I couldn't. I just 1 year.
Got to go make it. But for me,
I couldn't do it because. And for the girls, you see, they say boys are rough, but single schools for girls is very rough. Very rough. Maze manya kubekubirwa ntumpi. Bekoza omanyi buli omu abamanyi tewali mulenzi akulaba. Omanyi okubeera mu kifo ndowooza baba balwaningako maanyi. N'olaba omwana ayinza okugenda mu kirasi nga mukyafu.
But for we used to be clean, very clean.
No, babeera clean. They don't care about a lot of things. Gwe kyolaba nti kati ebigambo byeboogera.
But my first days in single school, I was like, will I make it? Like it was a boarding school. You wake up, you brush teeth, you comb, you iron. You're not going to see anyone. You even brush your shoes. But when you're not going to see like any girl, and you're like, it was very funny for me. Like for the first days. When you wake up, then we used to be very clean, but when you're not going to see anyone,
but sisters
single school life. So
I remember Evangelist, I swear they washed my hair with hot water. They kept on saying I dye my hair, I put dye in my hair, shit like that. Well, it was a single school. Now all the time I was telling that nun, she was a nun. I had to explain to her my hair is just like this. I'm not putting anything. She washed my hair with warm water.
Mm.
I tell him to come up one abana. Bamanyi nokweka kulingaho abaana.
Mm. I don't like that life, by the way, because I had peace.
Nogenda kulya popcorn.
Eh? No, I had peace in
Singa
single
wabeerayo
schools.
more than
I had peace, to be
singa
sincere.
wabeerayo more than gye wabeerayo wali ogenda kulya popcorn. Tekina
Now I was just learning like things like drugs, that stuff.
like what? Like drugs.
Yeah.
They do drugs.
Ooh.
Anti begugamba bakola
This is
ebintu.
like it was my
There is
it
too
was
much
it was
time.
it was my first time to see like boys taking marijuana. And cigarettes. I never like I looked at like guys, and it was normal for them. Like they used to wake up late in the night, and you see like certain guys going. They're going. Like said, "Are you going?" And they thought I was in that. Well, I never go out. But most people like I thought I'm too much into that. But again,
Mm.
they thought I'm in too much. Like I wanna like I don't know how my many face and I become for real. Never was a minding over hand. They thought I know all. Like gays, they used to ask for matchbox. For matchboxes.
From you.
They thought I have matchboxes. Kitegeeza nga mumwana kabiri. Once olumu bamenya n'okumenya nno. Ngamanyi nkabami. Ne
See,
bamenya.
religion is crazy. Wash your
Okay.
hair or you can't go to school.
Kitegeeza.
They
Oh, no.
thought the nuns, if they washed my hair thinking that I had dyed my hair. Like, why is it so black? Like, why is my hair black? Why is my hair curly? What have I put in my hair? Stuff like that. And they were nuns. So, and that's how I ended. I just went back, not the waka. I told my mom, she was like, you're not going back to that school. That they would see my eyebrows. Gama put eye pencil. Why is your eyebrow like that? Why is it curved like how can I
For me.
there were nuns ababantu. You can say, why did you go to study that shit if you didn't want to be? Why don't you just go and have sex or something? Why are you so crazy? Every time they were picking. I remember it was a single school. Can you ask me like why is my eyebrow decorated like that? Am I the one who made my own eyebrows? Like, why is your eyebrows so thick? Did you just decorate your eyebrows like that?
And for me, what I heard about like my that fake school, like the other guys were too tough. That's from single school. The other guys were too tough. But they also used to. I know you're holding boys. You're holding boys, and you know how they are to handle boys. You don't have to be even the boy. Like you find someone who is humble is the terrible one among boys.
Schools ali disciplined. They instinct maybe abawala mugwana ndeka.
Let me tell
Bali
you.
be banugu banani n'abaana.
But for my sake, in my school, differences were there. You find like um they don't allow you to do certain things like boys you like boys those single schools they have that thing of even when it is not the other thing of like the area but kibaawo nga bali beeyagala naye nga weekiri okitegeere so they used to tell us not to wash like certain days. They don't want you to wash in certain days. They don't even when like if it was a girl, even if you menstruate, they don't allow you to wash. There are certain days they were like In this day, we don't have. They find you washing. They can even expel you from school just for washing.
Yes.
I don't know why. Even I still ask myself even up to now because you can't appear that if omanye chiretera abaana abasinga okubeera clean, you see everyone clean.
Mm.
So they you see that everyone you're looking at is very
Kati
clean and
ffe our school twalina essomero eddala ery'abalenzi.
mm,
Whenever it was like omwami yabeera ne party bali abalenzi
mm,
nga baleeta baasi yaabwe nga batukima wano eno
mm,
ekulaberanga akatemba kunyampi kikudda mu bibi mukwano gwaye
nga mulwanira bbaasi.
baasi bali abalenzi they would treat us with respect by that. Baleeta baasi bagira mu baasi ku ntebe kubeerako mulenzi na muwala nga bajja era babeera mu layini they pick you ne mwingira mu baasi nga mugenda ku pate ssomero lyabwe. Disitulikiti yonna ng'ekimanyi nti eryo essomero likima abawala beeri ng'abawala abamu bajja ku eryo essomero bakasire for that moment okusomera katonda kankusese. And whenever it would be like sports era nga waliwo eyo relationship simanya uno yakubye omwana wa St. Teresa yakubye omwana wa St. Andrea olutalo nga lumatuka kyobana kabala katemba yogerogibize good privilege system akobyawo.
Yeah, I grew up in a privilege system. So I don't have that thing of separatism, like, you're from town and you don't have to relate with us. We are villagers. We don't need to mix. We don't need to contaminate. We don't need to contaminate ourselves with people that are with guys that come from the city. All in all, we are in one country.
separate.
We are in one continent. So that is. Kituliko ffe tubale tukitegeera.
Ogeza kugala. I know. That's I will watch GP Jabba's video. But we shall watch it, right? We shall watch it later. It seems to be nice, but since it's a video, I may not be able to share it. So
I'm using that child. Excited every day.
ate ng'obadde kulama. So Jibjaba was trying to give us the matrix behind that the market differences between the black people and other race, other people, or the Bazunguas. And he also said that whatever is going on is something that has been created or built. And we have had, of course, like INNOSSETU was saying, that the system in Africa is the system that was, of course, brought about by the colonial masters, or it has been going on throughout history. We have got those people who are privileged in Africa, and we have got those others who are less privileged. Now, the privileged and unprivileged system in Africa was, of course, designed by the colonial masters. Most of these category of people who, of course, accepted and worked with them throughout the colonial system or the colonial era have been privileged. Most of the countries, by the way, that you see that have grown so that have had rapid growth back in the days or back in history. These are countries that have always been in the white book, not black book of the Bazung. So whenever these people were, when they wanted to have Africa, they wanted to have the whole of it and for a very long time. That's why you see them trying building some permanent, infrastructures and stuff like that in countries that they felt they were welcomed. So in Africa, we still have that discrimination within each other. Jib Jabba said it is the same in the US. They have got the Negroes, the ones in the ghetto Negroes and the regular. They have uh, the country black people and the city black people. So there is that segregation, and usually people categorize this they categorize this with behavioral references to the point that because some other people will believe if you get probably someone from the village, that's when you will get an original person. And someone says, I don't want to have anybody from the village, from the city, sorry, from the village, I prefer the city because they're exposed and stuff like that. Why do we have that segregation in the African social system all over the globe? Why is it so important that, uh, okay, when did we start having dogs around? Um, why do we have that segregation between or among ourselves? Oh, my God.
Mhm.
Now that segregation that we're looking at, that the segregation that we have now in Africa, for instance,
Mhm.
that has blinded the mind of the majority and the judgment.
Mhm.
First of all, we have had other people even who have given up on a lot of things because somebody at the end will say, why I cannot do that because I mean, for us we don't do that. You understand? Even if we do it anyway, if it is not us in power, we shall not get positions. All right. As somebody will say anyway, to the point that as somebody will say, I cannot, I cannot categorize myself with who I am or where I come from, but I would rather use something else because maybe it is something that is prominent or it is something that everyone would like to hear. These segregations have affected us both economically and politically to the point that we have. I usually talk about Kableta. He's one of a great philosopher and a very strong politician who spits fire. He talks about the truth each and every time he holds conferences, but he's not being followed by a big population of Ugandans because they feel like he does not belong where they think every leader should come from. Somebody is going to ask, who is he? I mean, how can he be our president? Okay. Why? Who is he? Where does he come from? So we have a lot of categories and ways how we categorize people that, clouds our judgment usually. It is important that we keep separated, of course, both in Africa and outside Africa. And that's why you can separate the Negroes, the city Negroes, and a country. And that's why we know the ones in the ghetto and the ones not in the ghetto. Because if we keep on separating ourselves with those small circles, it's going to be hard for us to understand each other. That's one thing. You don't want to intermix because now these we believe that these are two different cultures. I'm a city boy, you're a countryside girl. These are two people with different characters, upbringing, beliefs, norms, practices, and we end up not mixing with each other because of these differences. Siraba abazungu bano we beeyawulamu,
Mm.
kitegera?
Mm.
But for us we do.
Really.
Si nnyo.
Yes.
Yogera ani ali mu kyeni? Nendekera
Really.
okulya ng'otulo tunene.
So the thing of discrimination among Africans, and it is seen in various incidences in Africa. You see, uh, at places of work. You see, in politics. mm,
Mm.
In politics, we see even in what we call our cultures. We see people separate. You know this that is happening. We don't like people normally say those people and their culture they do this, but they don't have it in their mind that it is a muzungu behind whatever that's going on. Recently,
Mm.
you know very well, the culture that is being blamed, the tribe, what is called tribe, or anything that is being blamed here in Uganda, that they're the Rwandese. You know very well.
Mm.
I don't know where it came from, but you know that Ugandans don't like Rwandese.
Mm.
Most of the Ugandans.
Mm.
But we see that even down to the cultures we have been watching on TikTok, what I'm talking about is recent.
Mm.
Um, the mother to the prince of Uganda is a Rwandi. The
Mm.
guy was there speaking a lot of Rwanda.
Mm.
Okitegeera?
Mm.
Nemwana bagenda kwerabisa netwalawo. Nene
Nga
wali.
wali Munyarwanda
Nena
gwe.
sigakaya munaye. So Jiba says, collect our unity in country and worldwide brings the dismiss, right, of the existing power structure. That's why there is so much division. Mm. Okay.
Mukwano nkyalya.
So we see that there is no way like people are going to understand all this, the genesis of all this, because of course we are ignorant about things in Africa. Okitegeera? There are certain things we have grown up, even our parents have grown up knowing things that are not real, things that are not real, but like your parent, your mom will not tell you much about that thing. Will not tell you about the genesis of that thing because she grew up knowing it's the right thing. Okitegeera? So you as a daughter to your mother, you will not get a final clarification about that thing that is happening because naye teyakubuulira nawe totutte buvunaanyizibwa like to look up all about these things that happen.
True. I think the reason why Ugandans hate like the Rwandese, why we have that Rwanda, Uganda off topic. I show idea called Cooking with Maria. I'm hungry now. Come on, the EGB Jabba. I'm eating some salads.
Groceries. This is groceries. This is
While I'm eating some innocent to ate his long time. Sorry. But you're welcome to always join us. The reason why I was like saying most of you, you know, get you.
Mhm. Okay.
The reason why the reason why we have some hate among the Baganda, so among the Ugandans and these Rwanda people,
Mm.
it is a political thing. Of recent, we have discovered that most of the kingdoms in Uganda,
Mm.
most of the women in these kingdoms are women from Rwanda.
Mm.
And if you follow the background of these women, you'll find they are soldiers, and even their husbands don't know that their women are soldiers. How can a soldier from Rwanda come to Uganda and get married to a king in disguise? They are typical soldiers.
Mm.
And it is crazy. I don't want to talk about this. But this is a political game. And I know a lot of people are not seeing this picture the way I am seeing it. But something is going to happen. Because most of their children, we are talking about China. We are not talking about these dudes taking over, wanting to take over the entire
Abasinga
East
babadde
Africa.
mukulu nnyo kimunasenga.
Because oyo mukazi kabaka gwe yali ayagala ne bagaana maama yanyumiza story.
Eh.
Ye bwe yali ayagala ku mutima ng'ayagala okuwasa bamutega kuva dda abaganda ne bagamba nedda tojja kuwasa oyo ne bamuwa oli ali mukazi mukulu abaganda beegambisa nti mukulu mukulu munyarwanda awulirana abandi naye noono gwe yawasa teyamwagala lwaki tamwagala. Nabagereka was given to him by the Queen Elizabeth. So a lot of shit going on in Africa. The prominent men are not marrying women they love. They are marrying women that are being said to them for them by the political associates. Even the Queen Elizabeth for some time was detecting the women who are getting married to the kings in Africa. But now it's getting worse, bro. It's getting worse. Anyway, I'm going to do that.
Discrimination.
Bwina ogimanyi. It's a normal thing. Hasajinga ekyugulu. Ku mahanje nga bwe njogera nja kulibolekawo nga nange ndekera.
Temolekera.
So, cabbage neekwatidde bulinnyo nkikokolo tekiba professional. So, we have experienced such kind of things. And we have had, first of all, the hate that most of the Black people experience from others is a hate that is caused by probably jealousy.
Caused by jealousy.
Jealousy, envy, lack of self-esteem, which is low esteem, self-esteem at times. I usually don't know why Nigerians keep on biting themselves with the Black Americans in America. But we have experienced such a thing. When I come across fellow black people, I expect to have that brotherhood, brotherly love. It doesn't matter whether you are a male or female. To me, I see you as, somebody that is close to me than any other. And but I also know there are lots of people who do not believe in that relationship. That somebody say, I do not like to see African people, they are so disgusting. And this is a comment that is actually made by a black woman or a black man. I always tell you guys, I'm always in this crazy group where I see a lot of things and I'm like, really? How come people view things or people view others the way they do? We have a certain way our brothers and sisters in America view people in Africa. You see, we always talk about the Bazungu asking us, do you guys sleep in your houses or attached houses? Do you guys go to the toilet or do you do it in a bush? Do you guys eat food or do you eat things like, that birds eat or animals? Do you cook your food or do you eat raw meat? We got a lot of Bazungu asking such kind of questions. Now, we got another section of the black Africans outside Africa who still believe worse of the Africans in Africa. Um, to the point that some of them believe that maybe we are so barbaric, or maybe we do not understand things the way they do. Somebody comes from nowhere and Facebook was like, I just they always do that. The Black American women love to use some weird phrases. Ajena kugamba kozubani. Ngamuyomba. Remind me who you were. Okay? And some of them still believe that Africans are primitive. We have Africans who are very exposed more than Abantu. Because we also have countrysides. For example, Texas, Jalonyo. We got those kind of, places. Bakambo, Ijebabe. So you cannot be judging people according to what you have been told without mixing with them or getting to know what they really are.
Ntolero eddakiika tukole tumalirize.
So
Tukole tumalirize.
So this is very important. It is very important for the people outside Africa not to know what Africa means. It is very important for the people outside Africa not to understand what it means because they have to keep everyone apparently away. The people in Africa are blocked from understanding the black people outside Africa, and the black people outside Africa are blocked from understanding the black people inside Africa. Um, the mainstream has done a greater, job at, of course, introducing Africa the way it finds fit to the minds of the people. That's why, um, we've got
Ebigambo byo mainstream agirwa.
the car. The car. The mainstream has played a very big role, like I was saying. Most people have never been to Africa, but they have seen Africa on their TV screens, on their phones, on whatever. That's why I usually like tell my brothers and sisters, tukore ekintu ekiri positive on. I usually tell everybody, stop talking about nonsense stuffs about Africa. We ought to say that we at least let's talk about the other side that the mainstream doesn't show. As Al Jazeera is trying to show that death and the wars and the violence and all that bullshit, let's talk about what good thing is going on in Africa. I personally don't like talking about shit. Not that I don't know shit that's going on, but I know a lot of people have presented that shit. So, as the mainstream is trying to lay those propaganda, we also undo that. That's why I always advocate for Black people solemnly standing to educate each other, no matter where they are. And that's how I got to know that, in America, we got some people who really love, Africa. We got these people who are so close, they feel like Africa is their home. I didn't know about that. We got people who have even never smoked weed before. We've got people who have never sold drugs. I've got to know this through those other people who have advocated for that. So we let the media show the world what they want, and then we don't end up protecting ourselves, our heritage, and everything. That's why I like this network. I'm in Pittsburgh, you're in Uganda, Job is in Kenya, but we think alike. Our people just need to communicate and realize we have a common for. Exactly, Jib Jabba. Exactly. Because if we do not if you don't tell it the way it is, somebody else is gonna tell it in a wrong way. That's why I keep on saying, why should you say cannibalism in Kenya? How can you even start debating about that? How can you even start debating about that? The cannibalism you're trying to say is a propaganda that you have no, you know, you don't have, proof about. And then you're gonna say, you. There are people who love that. There are people, I don't know whether it's yellow journalism shit that is killing them in their mind. But if you look at a country, if you look at a region like United Kingdom, it is not that they don't have saga. United Kingdom has saga. United Kingdom, UK does a lot of shit. CNN does not play that. You see? So BBC does not play that. Did I say CNN? BBC does not. All these are they are mainstream, they are bigger broadcasting companies don't show their shit. They don't show the world that Princess was doing this, that Prince was doing that. They ended up doing this. Britain, the British people keep their shit together. And that's why they make it so hard for people to understand the saga, the criminality, everything that is going on within the kingdom. First of all, they are the ones who paid the journalists there, and they are paid to protect the name. Now, Africa, we are not doing that. And even if an African gets a channel, the first thing is they first look for all those absurd bullshit things to talk about Africa. How can you even start a topic like cannibalism in whatever you feel? Aren't you? I mean, have you? So you can't. I cannot wake up and say prostitution, prostitutes are everywhere. Don't talk nonsense. That's not news. You can wake up and say prostitution in whatever place. Don't we have something better? Don't we have something good to talk about? Africa, Isaac, Kofi, you're welcome on our channel. Hi, Maria and Seti. Almost good. But thank you so much, Kofi, for coming through. Hope you're doing good. Mm.
Facebook.
Alabe Mogede.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's back.
He's back.
Isaac.
Isaac, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming and being with us. Yeah, thank you. So I feel like we as Africans, we at times do a disservice. In Pittsburgh, it's a Mzungu offender if a picture isn't shown. You understand? If a Mzungu has committed a crime, and if the moment you don't see the picture of the the criminal, you just know it is a Mzungu. For the black people, they keep broadcasting, showing their pictures all the time. And me, I don't know. Whenever I'm up against such kind of things, most black people, Africans, will be like, no, the truth is the truth. I know the truth is the truth. I know that somebody's gonna talk about it because the bad things are the things they usually talk about Africa. So talk about the good things. And I don't know. So Africans have that. The next time you start talking about the scammers in Nigeria, everybody knows in Nigeria they scam. Can't you find something better Nigeria does? Talk about that. They whatever in this country. What is it? What kind of nonsense? Why? What people already know these things. People already know that these things happen. Don't you think? Do we have only scammers in Africa? We got scammers apparently everywhere.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, kati nawe wenyine abayogera nga busikama nga babusikaming mwana balina okutopika baagala okwevujoza bannange bali abantu bakopi saba ne balina topika eyogera ku basikamas eyo enjo bannayuganda basezi agulya abantu obusuzi mu Uganda mbunanja 5% Uganda babuli bali abantu naye munange balinga nga abagamba bano mubali aliyaki kuba g'ogambira 95 kiki kitegeeza naye ng'obukafu baali babwina ekintu ekyo kyamula butabavuma ate oyo omumwa ogwamulego kalumundi mukunamira so so a lot of things we need to talk about the good things about Africa because the majority of the world is talking about how bad Africa is. So you cannot follow the same trend. You cannot follow the same trend all the time. Boyogereko. Bokoge. Aboyogera toyogera ku bali b'abantu. Nze kuseka ba. Yogera twakatambulako essaawa bbiri.
Every 5 minutes they show the bulk offender's picture, the black offender's picture.
Nice t-shirt, so General Mosquito. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenna, for coming through.
Thank you for appreciating our t-shirts.
So, all right. Abana. Tujja.
Ekyo ngamba lwaki.
Madembeza abaana tugenda kubaako isi.
Tujja kusula. Okay. Naye ne bano tujjawo lumu ne tuddayo. Abantu sibalooza tutuuya ne batumba.
Tebasobola.
So, like General Mosquito. Jib Jabba, yeah, not General Mosquito. Like Jib Jabba is saying that each time in Pittsburgh, each time you don't see a picture of a criminal, just know it is a white defender or offender. Sorry, it is a white offender. And each 5 minutes they show the black offender's picture. Check it out. This is what we are saying. The world is ready. Hey, Isaac Coffee is me. I knew it. Did I tell you? You don't need to say it. I knew. I don't know how, but I just said in my mind that this is General Mosquito's handwriting. I even told Innosetu. Did I tell you? I said this is General Mosquito. I said it. I don't know how I knew it was you. I saw your handwriting. I saw your handwriting. I always tell Inosetu that even in the dark, I can know him. You see, I told you this, that was General Mosquito. I told that abula wengulama neba kuteka wangu kutegeda. Kati awa so anyway, um we are a lot of people are on our case. And for that matter, the negative case. That I'm everywhere. Those people are on our case. So, as they're on our case, it is our duty to clean our image, to clean our name, to apparently show the world that part about us that the world does not see, or what the world does not show. Um, I'm always, like I said, up against people who like Africans who intend to show shit about Africa and negativity all the time. Maybe it is important, but I feel like it is a disservice. That's why I hardly talk about a lot of negativity. It's not that I'm biased or stuff, but I know a lot of people are talking about this, so I cannot talk about something that I know even if I don't talk about, somebody is going to talk about it and leave out something that I know no one is going to talk about. So you can never see me with a show here. You can never see me an innocent with a show that is created to, slumber the Africans. You can never see that I'm trying to slumber the people in Ghana. Now I'm gonna talk about shit about the Ghanaian people. I'm gonna talk about shit about the Nigerian. What scam? The Nigerian Ghana people do scamming. Scamming is everywhere. People do this shit all the time, so it's not news. I may talk about like probably why it's taking place. I'm not gonna wake up and start saying cannibalism in Kenya. Yeah, though you hear the news telling us there are cannibals over there. I'm not gonna talk about the shit because apparently CNN is covering this. So I'll talk about something better over there because a lot a lot of people are talking ill about us. And if we also follow the mainstream to do exactly what the mainstream wants, that means we are doing a disservice to us as Black people all over the world. There is a lot of beauty that falls in Africa. There is a lot of beauty outside Africa, within the Black people outside Africa, but we don't see that because the mainstream does not show us that. So be like, see, yeah, at the moment you see, the moment you start seeing a Black American guy, the first thing you're gonna see is probably, um, um, yeah, you start categorizing them with a lot of stuff. First of all, they come with a package on a hard other level, and they also have a fetish. Because a Black American man is going to look at a woman, is going to say, most of them who say they want to marry African women, they categorize African women in a very weird way. And at times I'm like laughing about this whole thing. They think African women can be intimidated. They want to look for somebody they can intimidate. So if somebody's going to be insulting you, have to shut up. Don't talk no shit because the moment you start talking, it's going to be like, so you're just as the same as this Black women who are raised like white women. So apparently, Black women, most Black men who want to date Black women in Africa think they're finding people who are so like submissive to their liking. I don't mean that the submissiveness which is to their liking. Somebody's not gonna question shit, so you should. I'm looking for a woman who's not gonna question shit, who's not gonna ask me stuff. So at times I feel like they are looking for African women for wrong reasons. Because we got African women here who behave like the American women. We've got them. There are many. We've got them. And you see them and you'll be surprised. So we have got African men who also behave just like the African black men in America. And when you see them, you'll also get surprised, which still leaves you with that, except that maybe the rate at which they are exposed might be a little bit different, but when their behaviors are the same. So, yeah, there is a difference between criticism and talking. Mm-hmm. Talking shit. True, Jim Chamba. True. At times I've been looking up like that, talking shit because I'm looking like, why should you even talk about this? I keep on asking myself, like, didn't you have something good to talk about? When you look at some things, most of the things they talk about in Africa, you will ask whoever is talking about the things like, have you ever experienced that? But no, I've seen that on TV. Are you stupid not to understand that the mainstream is being controlled? Are you stupid? So I saw this video on was BBC or CNN sometime back. I think I have to look it up on YouTube. So they are trying to show the night dancers in Kenya. So they were taking them. You could see that everything is just staged. You could see that you could see that everything was staged, and this was running either on
Was it
BBC
during day or night?
It was on BBC. Africans have magic. We have those people who meditate. They do a lot of shit. You saw that man who was floating in air.
Yeah.
So there is no way you are going to catch a night dancer. Whatever they thought they were catching on camera with your lights, their lighting, it was a presentation. So how stupid can an African person get a whole topic on a live channel like Black Ofa Network, for example, and start talking about shit that you've seen on radio, shit that has been staged, that you know. I love when I'm talking about shit to have had at least evidence to prove that this is this. So this group on BBC, I'm forgetting whether it was BBC or CNN, but maybe it was BBC. They were capturing this young boy. They were asking, you ask a night dancer at night. Wait, I'm going to show you that thing when we end on YouTube. Like, why do you do that? The boy was jumping. I do that. You see, I can. Whenever night comes, I feel like I cannot sleep. I have to make everybody not to sleep. So what do? I get these stones. You see them? I pour them on the what? On the roof. Then he gets some sand. He pours, and the sun comes. Shh. It is on the documentary, and the whole world is seeing that actually this is taking place. And our investigative journalist from Kenya is trying to show us how this witchcraft. See, which witchcraft is going to see all those camera lights on the camera and is still going to practice witchcraft. And which witch is ready to appear on camera and tell the world that I do this witchcraft. See, who is going to do that? So you can see that everything is staged to portray that image, to show the world that image. I'm talking about a lot. Um, there is one brother that I saw that video you were watching. That guy, I think he's a Nigerian guy. He does a lot of videos. He's a Nigerian guy. I think he's in China or in the Asian countries. So he decides to come to Ghana and do some documentaries.
Mm.
I think I'm going to be not called a documentary. Ha! They got to phone a camera. Quite a documentary. So um this guy does his documentaries. He gets some Ugandan guys to take him. So he said that one time he had people say that there are some people who are cannibal stuff. So he had basically to go and meet this very family that they used to say they don't say that he said that we have never done that before. Niyo mayiti abantu babakuba baganda be babatta, the entire family was killed olw'ebintu ebitategeerekeka. So omuntu ayinza okuwa olugambo kati nga bibyo bagamba ebyo oba kitegeera, and the people will be believing in that.
They
Kati
believe,
wabona
of course they believe.
they believe kitegeera.
Yeah, they believe.
So people have been affected mu ngeri eyo. People have been affected mu ngeri eyo.
If our grannies and the ancestors were poor, eh? Singa kiriwa singa batusaanyawo nadde I think a generation ezidda because we're tulinga generation ya musanvu.
Ojja kunyumiriza. Jiba Jaba says BBC, CNA, Sky, France 24, DW, all the same when it comes to our national. When it comes
Yeah,
to
they
us,
focus on dancing
yeah, they
and
focus on night dancing and not a ballot class fact. Kitegeera. So why should you focus on that? Are the people around back complaining? Baza ku BBC and they said you want. It doesn't make sense. Most of their things are always staged. Not to admire. Not everything is always staged. So you just go around. Me, I always tell Africans, if you have never been in a country, don't talk about what they do if you have no proof. Don't pretend like you know a lot about Uganda, that you feel like every time you should talk about the bad things taking place. Don't you have bad things taking place where you are? Talk about that, because I'm so sure that you know, at least you will know better than some. Me, I don't do that thing, to be honest. So I cannot be waking up. If I cannot talk good on Blackwood Fire Network, if I cannot talk good about Nigeria, I'll let that pass. If I cannot talk good about Ghana, I'll let that pass. If I don't know any good thing about Ghana, I'm not going to have Ghana. I'm not going to talk about Ghana, because I know there are people who are talking about there are people who take that as a full-time job, making sure that the world knows the wrong deeds, even the false wrong deeds of Africa. So I'm not going to take part in that, because there are those others who are paid to do that. It is their full-time job to paint Africa black, to paint black people, with whatever color they want. So you cannot wake up and say, you know what, Maria, Black American shit. I'll ask you one question. Have you ever been around them? So don't tell me shit if you don't know shit. Don't talk to me about things that you have not experienced. You're just following things on social media and you want me to believe in what you believe in because social media has told you so. And now this is the biggest problem most of the Africans have. This is the biggest problem most of the Black people have. We tend to take the things so serious that we forget the real things. You understand? You say, why don't you have women back in America? I know Black women have got bum bum. They have nyash. Is it nyash that you're looking for? I know there are Black Americans who have got that. The point even others who go for surgery, but they don't have it. You understand? So you are looking. I want to. If you are looking for an African woman from Africa, a woman that you want to be submissive, maybe it's you who has a problem. Why is it that that part of the story is very important? Don't you? I don't think that in entire, US there are no submissive women. I don't believe that in entire US there is no man who's going to love you. You understand? So you're going to come for a wrong cause, get a wrong woman for a wrong reason. You want a submissive woman, you're gonna fall on a woman who is very exposed. She has been watching TV, she has been brainwashed. And these half brainwashed people are more deadly because for them they never know any truth. They don't know where to fall. So you rather go for seriously, because they're always confused. They don't really know what they're doing is right or wrong. They are so very confused. Kiringa ng'ogenda n'ohabinga omukazi embeere kasita omupiikyamu ogwosooka omulala n'amupiikyamu tadda mu mabega asigala agenda mu maaso.
So, like, ojjako omukazi amusi, you can never be together. You can never.
Nga bamaama bangira n'abasajja
Remember, you can never. Ate nze nkirabyeko.
no nze
Janaako muwala mbuzi ne tuwanga.
kati lwaki bebakuleka
It happens nawulira oba you get shy nawulira nga
firo kati gyebagenda tebaba piiki zayo
piije naye gwali bizinesi kyayagala kujja kwanze gundi ba n'ebisiraani ebyo byonna omutwala.
Jimmy Jabba says my honest impression about Uganda is it's so green, plus your soil is red clay, like many southern US states like Georgia. Yeah, sure.
Clonas.
I think you have the right impression. Georgia and Virginia. Carolina. Yeah, it's true. Uganda is so green and the soil is red clay. It's true. It's true, Jimmy Jabba.
Like for me, I will not fear. Like I won't get shy talking about this. Yes, nowadays. Hey, Judge. So nowadays, we have social media. We have all the old social media handles in Africa, and Africa is taking part. Africa is giving a real percentage. Is giving a real percentage.
Black men and women are robust states. I'm not only robust, I'm boy. That's okay, Chinabe. Take a again that robust and now.
Yes, everyone is a more independent.
Sigeza banene zolwandowooza. Yeah, we are. Jujaba. The painting. Stage ya mubiri. Sokoleka kiri ekirala ekisembayo. Yeah. Conviction. Nakwana. Tulina biliifu. Kaneno. Akasemba yoja
kyogenda kukasemba eriyo simenya
tekwatagana bamabayo jibja bagaye muno correct. Yeah, I think it's true. Kituufu tuli strong ono tulina amaanyi bannayuganda nno balina amaanyi kyobola tuwangaala nnyo ne life span yaffe empanvu tekulimba. It is true, Amaji Bijaba. You have explained Uganda. You have explained Uganda well. That is now right, like right now, it is raining. You say we are working here now. Ojira. We are working here now, but it's raining. Into Singane, Tanzania. Ojira. Tanzania babies. So I hear it to have a point, young man. Ojira, Tanzania netudda maama nga batukuse tweyongedde okwagala buyitiddeko
waliwo genocide wano yabantu Rwanda myaka 10
Uganda 46 buidala. So Jibijaba, apparently you the true definition about Uganda is right.
abantu biseera bino bafanga nnyo nga bato
Comment ya Jibijaba.
kugulina
Tokageza
era bisigala biramu ankagezezza oba tebakagezezza
webiri. So yeah, it's correct. It's correct. About asking, it's correct. Chitufu. I think you have a right picture. Right now, as we talk, it is even raining. We live in the city, but you will think it is the countryside. We are in Kampala, but if I take the camera outside, I'm in the capital city, you will think it is the countryside. There are trees. We've got the tree. It is green. And even people will still be farming around in the skirts of the city.
And by the way, before coming to city when I was still in the village, I thought you can never find green in a city.
Yeah.
That's what I had in my mind. I was like, oh, I need to go to Kampala so I can look. Hey, the first day when I came to Kampala, I looked at the building. My eyes were like, so many people. But like I was seeing very many people now going the same, people going that side. Like I was about, was it 14, 15 there. Yeah. But I used to see like people were like they're coming from this end. I was like, over Nayiga, like Island Amakubo. Like something that troubled me so much. I couldn't trace very well like that main road that heads back to the village. So it's troubled my mind for some good years. Like if all I was imagining that if all things like failed,
How
How
will
do
I
I?
go back to the village?
You see very many roads. You see this, so it troubled my mind for years. For years, it is troubling my mind. I was like, how can I go back? How can I go back?
I think me, my experience, my first time coming to the city, the experience was crazy. I was, at least for you, you came when you're a little bit grown.
Mm,
I was very, very young.
mm,
Um, I think my mom was going for a promotional course. So we came in the city. I did not feel it. One thing I would remember all the time because I would by whenever it would reach like 7, I would be dozing. And for that time that I lived in the city, I used not to eat dinner. And I remember my brother, that brother of mine you saw, he would be singing for me lullabies. By the way, I remember I was young, but I still remember. Now I don't remember the pictures of the street and stuff. But I remember that clock tower, the Queen's Tower,
mm,
that we passed there. We saw a lot of cars. I was just attracted to the small bikes. I saw guys riding those sports bike. I think my mind was to that now. The second time I came, I think that was around when they were killing. There's a time when they threw Indians from Ovechizimbe. There's some Indians they were killing. There was something they did. And at that time, I was young, but I don't know. They sent the maid to go to Owino
mm.
to buy food, and I told the maid that I can go there. And stupidly, this maid said I should go. I I went and I got lost, my dear. I was like, where did I come from? Now, which route should I take? But I always wanted to do stuff. I said, I reached there no matter what to.
Mm,
I even bought. I reached the market, but it took me long.
mm,
But at the end, I reached the market. Now, when I was coming back, is when there was tear gas stuff. People were running. Nembito yene gye bakolera ebitabo mu NASA.
no,
Mupo. I went to NASA.
no.
Nga nzira eri mu Zambia. But there you can pass in the railway lines
Mm, mm,
to Mkwano like this.
mm,
I went to NASA and I was asking, I was running. I had Omuntu ngagamba muyitudduka eno nga Mukwano. I said, oh, that's Mukwano Road. I had to follow the crowd. I reached when everyone is making phone calls. I, I think I spent like 6 hours without coming back. And they're asking the maid, like, why did you let her go? And I was, yeah, but I came back now since then. Every corner was like a free bird
For me,
or a free range system.
for me, within the problem wasn't within the city. Like I got to know about places so quickly,
Yeah.
but the road that takes me back.
To you. Me,
Nanonya, I used to know.
and my auntie was staying at the Tewe airport. Her husband was working at the airport, so they had a place they were staying close. I went to that place. I felt like I want to go back home. Their lifestyle was not nice. You wake up in the morning, you're always like closed inside. I felt out of place, my dear. And then they took me in an ambulance. And I'm not,
My
they
first
took
time.
me back home. I told them I saw the ambulance now because my mom was a medical personnel, so I thought all the ambulances go back to so they opened the ambulance. I entered that ambulance. There were no people behind. The ambulance rolled because me, I knew the only ambulances in this one are heading to my mother's hospital. But I'll never forget, oh God, I'll never. Mm-mm. They can't say, tell God you need to call it. How
And,
about you stop doing that?
and there's something like there's certain things I'm looking at. I mean, like things that are coming in my
But
mind.
okay,
Yeah,
maybe
that's
go on.
why. Like I said, for me, it wasn't all about. And by the way, you talked about the ambulance. The first time I came to sit, I came in an ambulance. Imotoka zonna zaggwako ku luguudo. Ambulance n'endoota paka Busega.
At that time, ambulances were riding for long distances.
The ambulance yandeeta like I left home. I was like I was to come in the city to see someone. I was like, I have to go. I don't have to go back. Mom will refuse me, You know, my mom. So my plan was like, what I had in mind that if I go back at home, my mom will say that don't go, stay.
Don't.
So nabera kuku. I like for 4 hours when I'm looking like for a taxi or bus to bring me to Kampala. There were no buses. All the cars that were coming were full.
But you did want to go back home.
Yes. Oh, I sat on the road. On the road, I waited. I sat. Time went. Time went. I was about to give up. An ambulance came.
I got to really code. May I buy an ambulance?
Let's get an ambulance.
Maria's dropping us together ambulance. Me, I'm telling me, I knew because growing up, I knew all these ambulances are taking me home. I just say I want to go home. I want to go home, bus. My aunt was like, "No, you're gonna," and I don't know about come Burundi. But me, I could not. Then I was so I had that strong bond with my mom and my brothers. So there is no way you would take me away from this family, and I feel at home. Actually, I started staying away from my family not long ago, not many years ago, not even 5 years ago. Nze ng'ekyo kintu kinnuma nga sobola ate nina ekyo ekizibu. When I bond with someone, sisobola, I cannot like mbwana mbu nga sina maamu nakatandika n'obutabera olaba ne bwagenda mu kyalo. I went back in an ambulance. I knew, so when that ambulance opened, it came to Entebbe. Najitulamu, I left the bag, the clothes, everything. But I knew when I was to meet my mom, hey, push. The ambulance rolled, and when they reached the hospital, they are coming where they are going to pick a sick person. They saw me behind the ambulance. They were like, "How did this young girl get in here?" I said, "Have we not reached home?" They said, "Reach home." I had to tell them, my feeling. They said, "Okay, so why do you want to go?" I said, "I want to go home to my mom." "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from my aunt." "Where?" I said, "Where you picked me." She didn't even know where. But I remember it was in Entebbe. So this ambulance guy had to get me on another ambulance. Then I got home. But it was very late at night. So it was the quarter guard. They have that quarter guard in the barracks. They could not allow cars late night to enter. So I had to go, and I slept at a police station. The police, the Angelina police in the morning. My mom saw me coming from Kampala. I would never, no one goes on with a cook. You can comment. You can comment to me. Speaking on division in hospital, are you treated differently due to your tribe?
Tribe is at a higher level.
Tribe is at a higher level.
It is a higher level tribalism. However, Katonda atuyambye like abantu bano promoting ebintu tebasobola
Yeah, the most thing that is still favoring like the ruling party, that tribe has not done a lot of medical professionalism.
Yeah,
so most of them are not in medical fields.
You can find like the director.
They are in military.
Even before military, you find the director of the hospital is of that tribe. But these ones who are down,
The ones that are fast hand, hands on.
That's
So
one of
that's
the.
how it has been favoring a little bit. The majority of these people are not
Mm.
in
So
that field.
division comes in when you're like
The money division,
yeah, the money division. You
yeah, the
have money, I
status.
don't have money. So that's where
Nobody
the division,
cares
yeah, that's where the
about.
division comes in. And yeah, like the claims and like complaints I hear from people, pregnant people, women. I mean, because they normally say that like even after paying for bribe in government hospitals,
Mm,
still they don't give you services.
mm,
Like you bribe a doctor to get services very fast, but he will just take your money for nothing. He will not give you services.
mm,
I've had very many people complaining Kawempe,
mm.
Mulago, Chirudu.
Yeah, true.
Those are government hospitals, but
Every
it's the
service you
money.
get, you have to pay for that bed, you
Yeah.
have to pay for the mattress, you have to pay for stuff, you have to pay for. That's why me, I don't waste my time in those hospitals. I
Government
cannot.
hospital. Mm.
I don't. I can't remember the last time I went to a hospital and
Find like,
yeah.
and these doctors have private hospitals. You be like sick, you go to that private hospital, and he's on duty in a government hospital, and they call, we have a patient here, you run immediately to his hospital and leaves
Mm.
patients here in the government hospital. Coca-Cola. They tell you the doctor has gone somewhere. Coca-Cola. Ate
True.
kimanyi eri waliyo akasente.
Mm.
Agenda kujjako
Naye
miliyoni
aba
bbiri.
alina n'ebirye.
Ati kikiŋŋamba nti bamukubira essimu ng'oli mu lirye n'ajja eyo.
Yeah.
N'ava e Mulago, he leaves the main hospital, main government hospital, he goes to his private hospitals just because the patient has money. Ne
Hmm.
wababulirayo even if patient ng'ali
Ng'ofa.
ew'okusembayo agamba temukkiriza kugenda.
Ngoma.
Nti ne wakukwatako bukwasi n'okutuka. Era ezo ssente. And you have to first sign some
Engoye
documents.
eri ku mwenda.
They tell you, do you want to see the main doctor? Toyanga baganda. Do you want to see the main doctor? Yes, I want to see. You have to pay a certain amount if you want to see that specific doctor for that. You pay some money, they call the doctor, n'okutuuka.
Kimagenda kunfuna.
Sobola naawe.
Abo eri mu 9.
Ejja tukola bagireke.
Mhm. So that's we have the division of class. That's why even in government hospitals there is that VIP section, private,
Private.
which
I was like, why is it for me? Like when I was a kid, I saw things differently. Yeah. When I was a kid, I saw things differently. Like I used to ask myself whenever we could go. You know, my mom likes government hospitals. To let your mugamba, even when you have simple cough, he will tell you that in the morning you go to the hospital. He means a government hospital. So I was like, why do we have that private wing in government hospitals? We thought it is a government hospital, everything is free. Why do we see things like this is a private wing? We have to pay. Like at least they would have created that private thing, that private wing outside that hospital. I find people who are confused, like me who think everything is for free. Means okusanga private wing in a munkolako. Like you may find like people who are confused, like INNOSSETU. It goes to the private wing. They treat me. After all, I just move. I wonder I go because I don't have money for that. Hmm. Speaking on divisionism, job, yeah, I think we read this in hospital. Are you treated differently to your tribe? No, yeah, it happens, but it's so much in money things of tribalism are too much into places of work, into politics. Oh shit, yeah, into politics, African politics, Ugandan politics, yeah. But the thing of hospital, most especially people who promote tribalism, those are the people that all in African countries, yeah, all African countries, I believe, people that are in government, people that are having places in big positions in government and leadership, that the people that promote tribalism. So you find most of those people, they are not too much into these other things. Like, for example, health, they are not too much in this. You only find very few people that are related to that particular tribe, not too much into that health sector. They mainly focus on political things, army, positions in the government, and all that stuff. But divisions among Africans, the um, they're so rampant because we believe for one to be a full African, you have to be having forces behind you which are foreign that supports you. That is the wrong part of our mind. That is the other part of our mind that tells us that for you to be a full African, you have to be having forces behind you that support you, and these forces normally they support a certain tribe, so that to create tribalism or divisions, they will support different people in one country. They support them differently. They treat them and build their minds according to different agendas, according to what they believe in. They are the people that will bring something. They bring organizations that are talking about different things differently, and they're in one country, different organizations are having different agendas, fighting each other, and Africans will not know, will not understand this. Africans that are used for this. Let's talk about the rebel groups you have in Africa, even in our Congo here, in our Congo, which is near here. We have very many rebel groups in Congo fighting for different agendas, as they say. They say they fight for different agendas, but of course we know what they are fighting for. You may find out that these rebel groups, they're supported by one person. What city was that? Tewebaka. You may find out that tewebaka jangu tukole eddakiika abiri situka situ no nja kukuba kino kyegundi budde bwakukola ate nno ngenda kukuba kino ki keyboard. So you find out you find out you find out you find out in Congo, like you may find out that the very many rebel groups you have in Congo, they are supported by one person.
Yeah.
They are sponsored by one group of people, but they are fighting differently. They are making them too stupid to fight on different agendas. So that is the confusion the whites bring in Africa. Chidaba, tribalism is, why could we see tribalism in Africa for real? Why could we see that in Africa? Ntabwo eh? Hey, chap chap. Togala. So so until Africans we open our eyes to see what is behind all these divisions, because even the like I already say this, government officials, if we are electing in presidents in Africa, you see they will say I used to watch Kenyan politics during election time.
Yeah.
I used to see very many political analysts in Kenya, and of course in Uganda, trying to explain more about what's going on in Kenyan politics, and the president they were giving a blessing to be the president of Kenya. Like they were making calculations that Ruto, I talked about Ruto, that guy, the biggest percentage of Kenyans, they are of his tribe. Okitegeera? So ekyo kyokka only that creates a difference, that there are other tribes, they have their different okiraba. So people that who believe that they're under his tribe, they're supported by his tribe, they will of course think that they are represented in the government, and these other people will see that they are not presented. Okiraba? Nze nalabanga political analysis nga bagamba, Ruto, the biggest percentage of people in Kenya, they're of his tribe. So he has higher chances of becoming a president. Kiraba. So it doesn't make sense of like basing African politics on tribalism.
But that is what African politics has been throughout. And that's why we still have people stuck in power because of tribal, feeling. We have seen people, wrong leaders being elected again and again and again because of tribalism in Africa. We have seen great men who can do great wonders not being elected simply because they belong to a certain tribe or category. And so tribalism has invaded Africa, you know, almost everywhere. Okimanyi nti no gundi kiro we mulaba ng'omulubbi.
Ne tribe ye tagimanyi yonna, agamba Munyankole naye akyesiba. Tekinneetagisa kuŋŋamba nti oli Munyankole. You know that. Me looking at you, I can know your tribe. I can know your culture. Me looking at you.
What if she is?
However much
Oba
worry.
mama yamuteekayo n'amulimba.
Yamulimba.
Omwana bamutwale ku DNA.
Ayimu.
Ate kati kyova ali mu kweyerusa abali banne, ate n'oba obalaba they look different.
Bamulimba era sikubona.
Waliyo n'abalala. Otolaba obwana bw'ajja nabo, bwana bwa muganda.
Bamulimba.
Nze mulaba ng'omunubbi oba maama we mu Uganda.
Kirabika.
Ayinza okuba ng'afaanana maama we.
Naye nga si Munyankole. She's not a Munyankole.
Naga amannya ge yeetuma mannya g'akafuluma kati.
Claude.
Cleopatra.
Gaaliwo n'awatawa. Keraawo.
Cleopatra amannya ago baagatuma abantu kuva mu myaka ki? Kiringa ng'ogamba nti
Baagatuma dda.
kiringa ng'osanga Samantha w'emyaka ana.
Tebali mukwano.
Ate Tracy w'emyaka ana. Tugana mu Uganda.
Yes. They are there. They are there. Noona mukadde. Mukadde Tracy. They are there.
Bwera mukwano. Stop. Yeah. Bwera
They-
mukadde.
Yeah, bali naawe.
You're too much.
Wakuba, yeah, I've seen even all the people called innocent, yeah. Yeah, I've had like two. Yeah, I've had them. And by the way, this name, very many Ugandas don't name this name. Innocent, innocent. Yeah, very many Ugandas don't name that name. It is so much among the Wachika and Panyango. Yeah. Mm.
No, mama abaagala nnyo ate n'akutuma erinnya ly'erimu.
No, have you find that? And by the way, it is a name for boys and girls. Do you know that? Eh?
I know. Eryo fortunate. Comfort.
Talent. Even talent.
Comfort. Batalenti sibiraba nnyo n'abalenzi, batalenti bendabira.
Kati nze nakalaba talent omuwala mbulamu bwange I've seen boys one.
N'abasinga ndabye ate bakala. Comfort. Fortunate. Agamanya genda bambu.
Ate what about Grace? Like this girl. Mulaba ng'omusirazi abadde mubi. To be sincere. How do they start? Yeah. Our headmaster in my school was called Gloria. He's a Michigan Nyankole. These Nyankole come from Kampala.
Ate olaba abantu bali primitive batumanga butumu bamanyi
Gloria.
nga byakizungu nga mumala gatuma kati osanga n'omuzadde we tamanyi lwakimuto.
The guy was called Gloria now was the first time I heard about the name. Ash. It means, but if at all in church like we go to baptize our kids and we're like abasanga muno tebasobola olw'erinnya they can't even them up. Because it's such a name. Like how can you name a boy Gloria?
Nze nakugamba nze nasetinga dda amannya
Yogera tumalirize.
kozi wagala jamweta Nankima.
Nankima. Wataba omuwala.
Aliwo omuwala.
Amanya ge gali mangi.
Nze nga mwongerako Zuri.
We have vast names.
Naye olinamu Zuri baby n'eryamu ery'omukyalo. Teri omukyalo kyaleeta. Baaba ne baaba bajja okuzita ne baaba bajja okuzita. Tugende mu maaso kuyogera. Obadde oyogera mu Congo.
Nemala kati nojja.
I don't know why. Anyway, so me like you were trying to tell me, except that you were speaking in the that I was speaking there at that time about some shit. Me with the issue now like of recent where we see one of a prince from one of the kingdoms here, one of the known kingdoms, one of your kingdoms. It's not. Recently his mother passes away and he goes to bury in Rwanda. And he gets a microphone and he speaks Rwandese,
Fluently.
fluent with no fluent. He even said, "Now this is somebody. This is a prince apparently who is representing a kingdom in Uganda. Now he's speaking fluently, and when it comes to his language,
He doesn't
he
make it
doesn't
well.
make it. He doesn't speak it fluently. But he can, his mother, of course, was buried in Rwanda, and he speaks fluent
Kati
Ruhutu.
mutuusi. Kati gwe
So he speaks
kati
fluent
kuba
Tutsi,
n'omukazi mutuusi.
Rutusi.
N'omukazi mutuusi. Kati gwe ky'ogamba tewali there are no like that woman produced all that kid in the kingdom.
Mm-mm,
Hmm?
mm-mm,
Even when he produced one kid, but he has other from other men
mm.
and must be officials in the what? The
In
kingdom.
the kingdom. So this guy, everyone was surprised, like, how come our prince is speaking this Kinyarwanda, the Rwandese language, where fluently, and when it comes to the language of his kingdom, he cannot speak it fluently. And and I quote, he spoke in Rwandese. The words that I quote were like, "I'm sorry, even if I've been introduced to speak in English, I'm going to proudly speak Kinyarwanda. So you all will have to forgive me." And all the people from Rwanda who were there clapped and shouted about it. So indirectly, he was trying vula. You see that?
Voila.
Yeah, sorry, whatever.
Mm,
He was trying to like intimidate
mm.
those others who were like thinking he cannot speak that language. What's it? Kati ngayagala baprovinga. That's why the Banyarwanders were clapping. Recently, not long, not even last week, we
Mm,
saw one of another kings marrying a woman.
mm,
And everyone is questioning this woman, blah blah. Bateekako stories za michero n'obamu. Musajja na musajja munne.
mm,
So for them, they usually pour their own decoys. Like I was saying, why is it that most of the queens, why is it that most of the women who are married to the kings in Uganda, why is it that most of these queens are women from Rwanda? Traditionally, culturally, as a king, you just don't marry anyone far. The first woman you marry is a woman who was born to be your wife, whether you like it or not. This woman is cleansed, she's been taught apparently to be your wife. She's groomed apparently to be your wife. When you take this woman, then later you can take whoever you want. But this woman will be the woman who will be recognized. She's born, raised, and taken care of as a queen. She's taught administration, politics, and everything. Now, the Bazungu knew this thing because for a man to have a smart woman who has been taught in the field of politics to how to understand the economy, the social, and the culture, that means the African kingdoms will have strong women. And if they would have these strong women, that means it would be very hard for these people to take over. So it first began with Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth herself started to choose women for the kings all over the British territories. So most of these women are that most of the kings married were women, and if you listen to their speeches, you'll understand they have British accent. Most of the queens in African kingdoms, if you listen to these women, they have a British accent. These were women who were put in these kingdoms by the queen. That was Queen Elizabeth. The British molded these black women. They molded these women and brought them back. And remember, there is a time where they said they took their princess, the prince, from different African countries, more especially from those territories that were colonized by the British. They took them to Britain. From there is where they also got women. So these women purposely were brought to meet these African kings on the behalf of the British. So they got married. Now, Britain slowly by slowly started losing control over kingdoms in Africa. Now we see that politicians involving themselves in these kingdoms. Now, recently we saw one of the kings who got married to, probably, I know she's a Nyarwanda woman from Rwanda, and she got married, and this dude wasn't happy. You could see the celebration. Everybody was asking why is he not happy when he's gonna marry somebody, stuff like that. Most of the women who are married are even soldiers. They even have pistols, they even have guns. These are apparently military officials who are sent to various Ugandan kingdoms. We are atutulaba bakabaka bonna nga balwala olaba bwe bwakoze.
naye kati agenda tereera toseka kirumise muntu amulwala
Amulwala ate ani yamukumayo? So a lot is going on. It's why is it that most of these people are military? Definitely they are spying. I'm yet to know the involvement of Kagame in this whole saga. And for the fact Kagame naye akiriza nagenda okuziika.
omukazi we yabadde kumukoba
Even the wife of Kagame was there, even the wife of President. Don't know.
no oyo mukazi wa Kagame amuteete nti
alinga n'omusajja. So we are yet to know the involvement of Kagame with the Ugandan kingdoms. Because at this burial, the wife, Kagame's, the first lady of Rwanda was there. And we have seen these stories, the first lady of Rwanda involving in these women. And there is a lot actually that I'm yet to understand. Why does Kagame want Rwandese military women to get married to Ugandan kings? And at the end, the moment these men marry, their life changes. They start behaving like madmen. They start attending, conferences. They stop going up to meet their people. They are always like in a house arrest. One by one, you see one falling sick. They say they are flying out. They have been poisoned. They are not poisoned. There is a lot that is going on that we are yet to understand. Now the commands. So when we're speaking on division, hospitals are entertained. So when we look at Africa's politics, really, when we look at Africa politics leadership, it all points like to one direction. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised to see, shit going on, within the kingdoms. Oops. Okay, I'm back. This is a comment that's so you can have a spy in the king's court through marriages. Now it's done via OnlyFans consorts. This is a comment from Jimmy. Okay. Yeah, Jib Jabba, I do agree with that. By the way, I do agree with that because try to omuntu down owassa ensolo y'omukira mwana ogenda otuuka okufa nga tolina nasanyu lye wali olabyeko ku nsi abantu bagumira binazisagumira muntu nga sifa okimanya bwino tumala tufa era tuba tuli wiped away from the earth. Bannaffe basigala ffe twali tulidde tukirayo kyengulawa mu means sirina muwana I cannot sacrifice kintu
I don't care about truth. If I tell someone the truth, now I move on. You know, people don't want to hear truth. Like, yeah, but he said that's so you can have a spy in the king's court through marriage. Now it's done via OnlyFans consorts. Like I was saying that African African kings, I would say African kings and African kings and queens. Like these are like the real. I will say this. I will not fear to say this. Like people who are meant to be, kanchireke ojja kukubira bwerere masasi kanchireke yogera tumalirize otulaka kyogera nkyogera nga ndi off air
kyusa ekirala kyusa ekirala yogeramu kyabulu
okay so we are still seeing the same things if at all Africans will real fail to understand our values, fail to learn about our culture and about our culture, because this whole system that like we always say, it is to destroy Africans, African culture, actually African system of political system, African political system, monarchical system that we had here. It is to destroy everything. If Africans don't wake up as early as now, in the near future, we may not see kingdoms exist in Africa. Or else we shall see either Wazungu or foreign kings in Africa. Because the system is erasing away the real people that must be in African kings, in African kingdoms. The system is erasing them away slowly. Bakulaba toyinza kubeera nawe ku live labawo omuntu ayinza
nemukulaba
doesn't make sense. Eddakiika musanvu
wayogera ku mukazi oli nakuwulira kyojogerako.
So I was saying that we may not see kingdoms in the near future. Reason being, the system these people created is erasing away African monarchical system, African culture. It is removing that culture slowly by slowly. You will say Chinese kings in African land. In the near future, someone will tell you, my mother is a Ugandan. My mother is a Chinese, and my father is a Ugandan. So Toinat, you have nothing to tell me. I'm a
What?
I'm a queen. I'm a king.
Okay,
You
I'm
will
just
see them.
mm,
You will see them in African kingdoms and kings. You say Chinese is a full prince. A Chinese is a full prime minister of a certain kingdom. Reason being, Africans, you have not respected culture. We have not respected culture, and I don't blame too much. I don't blame so much Africans because whatever that we are going through is scripted, and very many Africans don't like. They don't want to hear about this. If you speak out about truth, they won't hear it. The same saga that happened, that the saga we have been talking about, the Prince of Uganda and what. I once told my mom about this the other time she was quarreling. I told her about the same things. It was like, what are you talking about? Even my sisters were like, it is impossible. It can't
mm,
be. Oh, they were talking about that queen of
mm,
the other tribe, about.
mm,
I was telling them that it's not far, even in our kingdom, it is coming.
mm,
But all these things are planned. But yeah,
mm.
there is nothing, things that are concerned with kids, things that are concerned with bringing somebody new. Banachiri important. Then
As a concern, I'm doing what?
like when you're bringing someone into life, someone, it is so important. Oh, we are living. Ochitegeera?
I'm going to sort of pretending I'm coming. I don't know.
So like,
So pretending about things. It's
no, some people they don't like. They don't. I like. By the way, I don't blame the king so much because, of course, he was a youth by then, giving birth to that guy.
mm,
He was a youth, and when like when you're a youth, your youth you have a lot of desires for women. Okitegeera nga tonategeera, you want somebody with
in the
food,
comments.
you want someone with tall, you want somebody with nyasha. Do you know what I want?
Naate abo abanyalanda babo si balungi bwendabye.
Eh?
Be balina
Sarah
si
Mufati,
balungi.
you got a split. You talk here, don't miss it.
Yeah, take care.
Whatever, sit down.
Diana got us. All right, Jiba. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for being with us for always, for sure.
Olugira ngu omukozi wonna
Mm,
mulamu ebirangisi.
mm. Hmm.
So,
Njogera
so,
nanyo.
so,
Njogera nnyo mukazi mama wange singa balina mbeera mukulira.
so you've been talking about what?
Tumaze kusobola sasa kuzoda. Nze wante naima kyemanyi. Abakozi b'abanko nga balungi. Si balungi. Kati tewali ky'ongamba mbu wadde
No, the
obuyambi
thing
bwe
is,
wayine
the thing is, the thing is, when you're a youth, there is a one man, there is a one man views things towards women, uh, depending on the age. That's why I was saying that I don't blame the king for the decision during that time he made. Ekimanyi oyo gali yali anywa omwenge bubi nnyo, tegwamubaza n'omulwaza.
ne taata nkyali.
Kitegeera?
Balina stress.
Yakulira mu mbeera ey'ekigaggagagga, embeera ey'ekigagga. Buli kimu weekiri, however much peace wasn't here in Africa, but for him he was enjoying. However much people were rioting, you bring Bawaka or what, people were rioting, people were boycotting government things and what and the whatever. But the guy was taking alcohol wherever he was. The guy was enjoying sex wherever he was. He had no nze nkubuulire eno ddala kola outro kyejogera mazima
Atya.
ate anti nze nkubuulire the guy was a youth ate when you're youth there is a way you view things towards sex towards women towards pressure and leisure you view things differently. And for me, the things like I liked when I was 16 are so different from the things I like now. It's not that I achieved the things I got when I was 16, but if those things meet, baby, as a man, there certain things. There is a level I wanted to be when I was 16, which is so different from now. And when I look back into that, what I wanted to be, I was like, look at shit. It was so childish. So I go back to that. To the other point is like, I don't blame him for the choice he made.
All right, let's hope the choices he made do not take him to the end of the world. Thank you so much for loving and supporting Black Hole Fan Network. Thank you so much, Jib Jabba. Jerome Mosquito, thank you so much, Derek. Thank you so much, whoever has commented. And of course, the silent majorities. This has been Blackout Fan Network with me, Africa Maria, and my colleague.
INNOSSETU.
See you tomorrow, guys. We love you. Have a blessed night.